Well, Aspen is a rising star in the global pharmaceutical industry, supplying branded and generic pharmaceuticals in approximately 100 countries. It was founded in 1997 by Stephen Saad. It has a market cap of 64 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 22, and a dividend yield of 1%. There is no faulting Stephen Saad and Aspen. Australia is coming on stream strongly. LATAM is one of the most exciting opportunities within the group. Matthew, let's throw it to you first.
I mean, LATAM for me is a great opportunity, but not without its challenges. You've got extremely competitive market, and Aspen is going to have to buy their way in there. I mean, they've been going slowly but surely, but to get that up to a critical mass where it actually makes a difference at the group level and you can benefit from that organic environment, they've got to do a deal. It's got to be a pretty big deal. $1 billion, maybe that sort of region, but they're going to be playing a big multiple to get into that market.
Well, just looking at the share price here, if you had bought it 5 years ago, round about that 35 Rand level, you have done incredibly well with it at 140. Do we continue backing the story?
Well, I remember them well. It went to like 33 and then fell back to 28, and everybody said, oh my goodness, it's overvalued, you must get out now. Look, it's a very interesting market, pharmaceuticals, because it's tightly regulated for obvious reasons. The normal patent protection period is 20 years, so it's easy to see which the big drugs are, the blockbusters that sell a lot of stuff. In emerging markets, what you do is you wait for the 20 years to be up, then you go and apply for a registration. You have to prove, of course, that your composition is correct. Your manufacturing plants get very carefully monitored, with also a good reason. But once you're in the game, all you need to do is convince the state-run hospitals and the GPs that your drug is better and that it costs a fraction of the price of the ethical drug, in which case you're up and away. So high margin, it's got all the right attributes for a successful business. So, you can get involved, and the generic end of the business is very, very exciting.
Do you believe that they can keep their growth momentum?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, to keep that sort of momentum, they've got to carry on doing deals, and no doubt they will do them, and they'll almost certainly do them successfully. The track record speaks for itself. You're not going to see that sort of momentum carry on going if they just play to the organic environments in SA and Oz and at least what they've got in Latin America. I think growth can slow, but I would not bet on it. I think
they have had some problems in the first half of the year in South Africa specifically. That was with the ARV tender, losing out to donors on that front. However, having spoken to Stephen recently, apparently all back on track. They're looking forward to the tender coming out now early December.
Yeah, and the other thing that they had that let them down was they lost that contract to produce baby formula for someone or other.
But they've come back hard with their Infracare
Right,
offering.
So they've kind of upped their own brand and the distribution thereof. Look, I mean, I think the most important thing about them is that relationship with GlaxoSmithKline, because to put it in perspective, they are a rising star, but Aspen's market cap at that level is, sort of $8 or $9 billion, compared to Glaxo, which is like a $120 billion corporation. And what Glaxo has been doing is taking its old expired, by which I mean not expired, but, ex-patent drugs.
I'm glad you qualified that. Otherwise we'd have Glaxo executives phoning us
shipping
tomorrow
them
morning.
down and basically putting them into Aspen in exchange for Aspen shares, or allowing Aspen to buy these businesses from them. Because remember, they've already got 15% stake or something. Why? Because for Glaxo, they get no credit whatsoever for some patent expired drug that's in their portfolio, whereas in Aspen's hands, then it's like, on a 20 PE, and they get the benefit and so on and so forth. So I foresee many more transactions of the sort that they've done with Glaxo down the line.
Hot or not, you want to add before we go to hot or not?
The drugs are worth a lot more in Aspen's hands than they are in GSK's hands, because they distribute them in more geographies. They put a lot more emphasis on them. So, I think, I agree. These sorts of deals are great for Aspen.
All right, now before I ask you hot or not, come back into the center stage position. And now the big question, hot or not, Matthew, on Aspen? Hot or not, Pulteron on Aspen?
I do like them. I think, people worried about the Sigma deal, but they extracted good value. I think they're going to continue doing that. Best management team in the South African corporate environment. Great big runway in terms of pharma in the next couple of decades. So for me, even at the current price of 143 or whatever it is, still a good buy, hot.
Stephen Saad smiling widely, the best corporate team in South Africa.